When I talk with our guest speakers about this homily at Jazz Vespers, I usually tell them one thing: don't talk about jazz. Turns out that most of them ignore that advice, and today I'm going to ignore it also. After all, it's Flag Day. And Al Estes, a good friend from the congregation, loaned me this flag for the occasion, this tie for the occasion. You may be wondering, though, what does Flag Day have to do with jazz? Flag Day commemorates the adoption of the American flag on June 14, 1777, 249 years ago. It celebrates the ideals that the flag represents: freedom, unity, and a shared national identity. Unfortunately, these days the flag is sometimes treated as if it belongs to one political group or another. But the flag belongs to all Americans, and so does jazz. There is nothing that is more American than jazz. Jazz is often called America's greatest original art form. It grew out of African American communities and blended influences from the blues, spirituals, ragtime, Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, and beyond. Like America at its best, jazz is many voices coming together to create something larger than themselves. At its heart, jazz reflects many of the same values symbolized by the flag: freedom, individuality, cooperation, diversity, and inclusion. Think about improvisation. Jazz musicians are free to create in the moment, but not without structure. Freedom exists within a form. The tunes that Inga and Marshall have been performing are based on the composer's structure, but are transformed by their creative and technical abilities, which sounds a lot like democracy. In a healthy democracy, people enjoy freedom while operating within a shared framework of laws, institutions, and responsibilities. Every voice matters. No single voice should dominate. The same is true in a jazz ensemble. Every musician gets a chance to speak, but just as important, every musician has to listen. In fact, one of the highest compliments you could give a jazz musician is to say that they have big ears. We often think great jazz is about dazzling technique or lightning-fast solos, but the best musicians are usually the best listeners. That's probably true in democracy as well. If we listened half as carefully during election seasons as jazz musicians do on the bandstand, we'd all spend a lot less time reaching for aspirin or some other numbing agent. Jazz also reflects the diversity represented by the American flag. African American traditions provided the foundation, but jazz absorbed influences from many cultures and communities around the world. Many voices, one conversation. That's both jazz and America. Jazz has helped advance democratic ideals also. Musicians like Louis Armstrong, Charlie Parker, Duke Ellington didn't simply repeat what had come before them. They experimented, challenged conventions, and created new possibilities. Democracy depends on the same willingness to imagine something better. During the Cold War, the US State Department sent our jazz musicians around the world as cultural ambassadors. Artists like Duke Ellington, Dizzy Gillespie showcased the creativity and freedom that America represented. Of course, there was some irony in all of that, because while America was promoting black artists abroad as symbols of freedom, many black artists still faced segregation and discrimination at home. But that irony also points to an important truth. Democracy in America has always been defined not only by what it is, but by what it promises to become. Today, many Americans look at our divisions and wonder whether we've forgotten that promise. Some seek to claim the flag for themselves, but the flag belongs to all of us. Its promise belongs to all of us. And jazz reminds us of that promise. Jazz teaches us that every voice matters. It teaches us to listen. It teaches us that diversity strengthens the whole, and that individuality and cooperation are not opposites, but partners. A while back, somebody gave me this hat. I don't know if you can see this. It says, "Make jazz great again." I'm not going to wear it for you, but of course, jazz is already great, and it never was not great. But that slogan has some value, since celebrating jazz is really about celebrating something larger. The belief that every voice deserves to be heard, respected, encouraged, and welcome. That's the promise of jazz, and that's the promise of America too. So, happy Flag Day. And now, let's get back to the wonderful music that we all came here to hear.